Hello church, this is Mario Bolivar from Skaneateles Presbyterian Church. Thank you for watching. This is the introduction video of our week number 2 of our adult study called Covenant with God. Last week we studied the rainbow and the incidence of that covenant with all the earth, with all the creation. This week we're going to study and explore Abraham and the covenant that God sealed with Abraham and all the children of Abraham. It's a sign that we recognize as circumcision. I have to tell you that this covenant makes me uncomfortable. It feels like a tight place where we don't have a lot of room. Something that you have to be committed. If you read Genesis chapter 17, starting at verse 1, you will read about why and how this covenant was sealed. Now, let me tell you about why this covenant makes me uncomfortable. But before that, I have to tell you that I accept this covenant. I have been part of this covenant, and my hope is to maintain to be a child of this covenant. I don't like that only included men. I believe from the beginning, I believe that every covenant that God has sealed with us includes both male and female, always, in everything. I do understand why it happened, how the historical times of Abraham and the incidents of women over there that were supposed to be something that you can trade or something that you take ownership of. I do understand that. The other thing that makes me uncomfortable is how this covenant was forceful sometimes. If you read Genesis right around verse 12 of Genesis 17, you will read that this covenant was not only including every male that wanted to be part of the covenant under the Abraham's house, but also every child, which is okay, it's my child. But then also included slaves, people that you bought with money. Now, I do have a question. Why would God force this covenant on people that didn't believe in the covenant? Perhaps I can reconcile this idea with the notion of the importance of showing an outward sign of the covenant. For example, I'm married. I believe marriage is a covenant. There is divorce, but also there is something funny. A normal sign of marriage is a ring. Now, I just took my ring. I'm still married because my covenant with my wife, Mel, does not depend on this ring. It depends on my heart and on what's happening between me and my wife. What happens is that this ring is helpful because this is how often people can tell that I am married. So perhaps I do believe that when slaves were circumcised and the children were circumcised and the male were circumcised, it was an outward sign of where did you belong. There was grace operating in everything. But I do believe that struggling with something as important as this is crucial for our faith. Now, let me tell you the last thing I consider about this. It is important to make an outward sign of what we believe, especially with something that does not grow back. Because we as humans, we take our covenants, our promises back so often that sometimes a promise is no longer a promise, it's a maybe. Sometimes God is holding us accountable to each of the promises, and we need to acknowledge that those promises are forever. At least for God, His promise of the children of the children of the children of Abraham was a promise. But what about your promise and my promise? We change our mind all the time. God does not do that. So what are some of the incidents of covenants that you have in your heart? What are some of the signs that you have of covenants that you have sealed? This is what we're going to study this week. There are scriptures that you will see after the video. I hope that you continue to do the study with us and learn about how covenant with God is one, as God is our God and we are the children of God. Church, that is all for today. Thank you for watching.